ever experience, and he hasn't had another one since.
Yeah. I have.
We should change that.
Yeah, I would love to. I very casually dabbled.
Rolling dice. Camera.
Action.
Thank you. Hello and welcome to the BBEG Podcast. As you can tell by our screen, we have some special guests. We are joined today by the Don't Be a Hero podcast. Yes, so you have got myself and you've also got Em. And boys, if you would kindly introduce yourselves to everyone.
Hello, I'm Matt. I'm one half of Don't Be a Hero podcast.
And I'm Forrest. I'm the other half of Don't Be a Hero Podcast.
Welcome. It's going to be quite fun because I don't know how much D&D you guys are familiar with.
I've dabbled. I've dabbled for a few years, like really occasionally on kind of like one day as effectively. And then Forrest has been part of one with me. And it was his first ever experience, and he hasn't had another one since.
Yeah. I have.
We should change that.
Yeah, I would love to. I very casually dabbled, but I've also played half an hour of Baldur's Gate 3. So I'm professional, right?
It's more than I've played, and I'm a massive nerd. So come on.
We are a TTRPG inspired podcast. That is what we do. If you could give a little breakdown about your own podcast, that would be wonderful as well.
Go on, Forrest.
So we started off where we have been going through all of the various phases of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. So we covered the whole of MCU, and we look at a different superhero TV series or film every week. We examine that. We'll do a couple of wild card entries. So we've done, I can't remember off the top of my head what wild cards we've done, Matt, but we've done some various.
We've done quite a few. We've done Star Wars: A New Hope, for instance. Like we've gone out there to Lucasfilm before. We did that a couple of years ago. We also do quite a lot of movies that are kind of coming up as well, kind of like B movies. We just kind of partnered with a group recently called Strike Media, and we're sort of reviewing their movies for the last about a month or so now. But yeah, and we also do interviews as well. We kind of introduced this year a brand new kind of format where we get to interview not just the big peeps. If we can interview the big peeps, it would be amazing. But that hasn't happened yet. But we like to celebrate those that were either behind the camera in an MCU project, or the essays, or small roles, speaking roles. And we've had some really awesome interviews with a guy called Alex Foreman, who was Behemoth in Loki. Before that, we had a guy called Tom, who was in Aquaman 2, and he was the body double. I think he was the body double for... What was his squad?
The villain of the sequel, right?
Of the sequel, yeah, that's it. So yeah, people like that.
Oh, I think I was about to say the character's name. Namar was...
No, not Namar. No, Namar, yeah.
Oh, I have just nixed my universes to a whole other...
You've emerged.
Aquaman would be so lucky if they had Namor in, I'll tell you that.
How did you guys get started with this? Like, how did one of you reach out first, or did you both sort of... We kind of just looked at each other one night whilst playing and went, podcast? Yeah. So, like, how did it come about for you guys?
It was kind of almost identical to that. Apart from being, we were in a cinema. We watched, I can't remember what movie it was, but I think it was an MCU movie. Me and Forrest used to work. We still work together, but I worked full time with Forrest a few years ago. We literally went and saw a movie, and it was an MCU movie. We turned to each other and went, podcast, and here we are. Yeah, literally 2 years now. Yeah.
Yeah.
2 and a bit. So when did you go? Oh, that was just out of lockdown then. So 2022.
Yeah. So 2020. No, can't be 2020. What I'm on about that would be 4 years. That's dramatically more. No, it's 2022. May 2022. We started up and we've done 2 and a bit years, and we have finally caught up with the MCU. So we have reviewed a fair few amount of films and TV series, some more rubbish than the others, but
They are a behemoth worth of film. That's like
Other content.
yeah, it's
Yeah, we used to. There in the first year. We have found our groove, which is thankful to say by now. But in the early days, we were like, okay, I tell you what, we've got so much to do. Let's just like watch 2 movies and then review those 2 in one sitting. And we found ourselves when we got to like, I think we did it for like Captain America and then Winter Soldier or something like that straight after. And we just found ourselves just getting really burnt out and just not saying the right things and just being completely... We were going scene by scene back then as well, and it was so dreary. So we sort of found our kind of identity around it. We don't usually go scene by scene. We give kind of our hot takes, our theories. We talk about just the characters, the kind of character development as well. So myself and Forrest come from a creative background, both actor trained in the theatre industry and stuff. So we just kind of just use that as a kind of platform for us to then talk about narratives through characters. And just I like to talk about the action. What was my favourite action sequence or the fight sequence and stuff. But yeah, it's kind of, that's how we kind of like go about it now with our sort of podcasts. Yeah, since those early days, it was tough though, wasn't it, for us?
always a little bit.
well, then that's exactly what we'll call it.
Do you ever, or if anyone ever watches any of our first season episodes, I've got a really bad thing with my face if I don't agree with something or if I think we've gone way off track, and it shows. And Hattie decided to put a reel of clips together for my birthday of what my face does.
It was a show, wasn't it? It was a show, is what we'll call it. There's just you need a t-shirt that says, if I don't say it, my face definitely will, because that's what will happen. And I'd watched it back once it went live and I was like, oh, do you know? Do you know that you're like we had a third member on the podcast, Will, and he would say something and you would roll your eyes, but because you're sat next to him, I'm like, he knows. Everyone else can see you.
And I'm fully aware as well. Like, I'm not stupid. I know what I do. But then also we were looking at that going, yeah, we need to change some of this because actually that's wrong. That's wrong. That's wrong.
You learn,
you grow.
With all the ones that you've done, do you have a favourite?
Favourite film or TV series, or favourite one of our podcasts that we've done?
Oh, both.
Yeah.
Do you have a favourite film and or TV series? And do you have a favourite episode? No, they're the same.
Lovely. I would definitely say favourite film by a long shot is Guardians of the Galaxy 3. I think it's just like perfection, that movie. I think the whole trilogy is pretty insane, but the third film just kind of, it's a roller coaster of emotion. Cinematically, it's beautiful. Just everything about it. I would say that my favourite podcast that we've done is probably, we had it was our first interview, wasn't it, I think, with 2 American actors, and I think the film was called The Last Deal. Was that right? Deal, not Jill. The Last Deal. And it was really fun. It was kind of when me and Matt went, actually, we quite like doing interviews and we quite like this format. And it was a really lovely podcast, actually.
I'm just trying to think what my favourite movie or TV series is from the MCU, and I'm like, it doesn't just have to be the MCU. Can it be beyond?
No. Any of things that you have watched, which is now a huge list, including the MCU. But any of those.
I mean,
She-Hulk. Say She-Hulk.
Eternals. I say if we stick it to MCU, my favourite MCU movie still is currently Endgame. It's the only MCU project that's kind of made me bawl my eyes out at the end. I mean, in every way, it's great, but it's because it's the culmination of a lot of things, and it's a culmination of a whole kind of like 10-year story, which, you know, hasn't been kind of told in that way for a very, very long time, since I'd say you could argue since the original trilogy for Star Wars. That's got to be my fave. In terms of episode, and this is, you might not know this, Forrest, but like there is one episode we were reviewing Ant-Man 2, I think. And we were just both of us on a coffee high. We were just incoherent and unhinged for a full hour. But I've never seen us have more fun in an hour's podcast. I I like to bring sometimes the chaos in a podcast, and I think we can kind of like, particularly I wonder if you guys get the same thing, but like we get so kind of like stuck with the content of talking about the stories, the narratives and stuff. If you get to kind of like have fun yourself, and that was one of my favorite ones because it was just so silly. But I don't think we ended up talking about anything really from it. Other than just how hilarious the movie was.
I've definitely got to go elevate that here now.
It is unhinged.
I can't actually remember that podcast at all.
Go down in the...
That one and the Spider-Man. There's a Spider-Man one that's like that as well, I think, actually. Oh, is it? It might be Homecoming. I think it might be Homecoming. Yeah.
See, you can tell. So Matt really goes back and listens. Matt loves his own voice. He just loves the sound of his own voice. So he's just going back and thoroughly enjoying 100 hours worth of content. I haven't listened back, sir.
You listen back?
No, but then I have to I've edited the past season together, and if I have to listen to myself one more time, I might go mad.
This is also where we massively differ, because I've got to listen back to myself so much for work.
Yes. Yeah.
Because I work as a singer most of the time, so you constantly having to listen to myself. So I'm used to it. I used to absolutely hate it, but then listen to my singing voice and my talking voice is two different games. But I tend to try and watch them before we release them, because we've always got them uploaded ready, and then I'll put it on the fastest setting so I don't have to lose the will to live listening to all of us and just go, yeah, cool, that was fine, that needs to be redone, or whatever. That's kind of about it.
Especially when it has been a coffee induced a bit of madness for all of us. Then
I was doing it on tour on the bus, headphones in, eye mask on. I was like, yeah, this is, am I asleep or am I paying attention?
Am I asleep or am I listening to myself?
That's my like status for every day at work, I think. Am I asleep or am I...
I need to adopt that. Am I asleep or am I paying attention?
Yeah.
We'll never know.
Is there like one thing that you've discovered from doing this podcast that you didn't expect?
Oh, that's a really good question. It's great. I like that. I think what immediately struck to me and what was really nice is the community that's out there of content creators that do this. I think it's so vast and there's so much variety, you know, and guys, what you guys do, what we do, but there's still this level of connection that we're all just doing and talking about what we love, you know, doing for fun, right? And I think everybody having that common kind of like ground and being able to kind of support each other and stuff, like we've been really lucky to sort of find great content creators like yourselves. Lee, who's Lights Camera Rant as well, was kind of like the first person that kind of reached out to us. He's been on the podcast a few times, and he lives in Australia. You know, all these people from all over the world that just have just a brilliant thing to talk about. And I think that was the kind of thing that immediately surprised me and just kind of went, oh wow, this is a whole new world in a way. And it's continually to grow as well. Like there's still new content creators, podcasters and podcasts that are coming out, doing things about MCU, DC, just superheroes in general, which is great. And it's really been awesome to connect with those guys as well. So that was, then that Forrest, you've got a separate one in terms of that answer.
Yeah, I think quite similar, but I think for me it was quite interesting. I think now, especially 2024, when we've got so many different social networks, so many different platforms, and trying to find your platform is quite difficult. And I think initially we floated with a bit of Facebook, Twitter before Elon Musk did what Elon Musk decided to do with it. A cess of emotion, but yes, Twitter and Facebook, and it just never really clicked. But Instagram really clicked for us, and that's kind of where we found our audience. And trying to get into YouTube, and yeah, it was. I think the marketing of it has been really interesting actually. And Matt's used to have a YouTube when you were younger that was quite popular, and how that landscape has changed quite dramatically from then. I think it's quite interesting.
We kind of started with Instagram as our main thing, but then we bit the bullet and went, okay, TikTok, because apparently the D&D world for TikTok is actually pretty good. I know, because we're really old. There's children's flagpole.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. I don't go on TikTok. So Forrest, I do the social media, but Forrest does it, and I can't deal with it.
All right, Forrest. I'm not like 20. Like I'm not like the teenager. Oh, yeah, little Forrest does TikTok. Yeah. Little Forrest goes on TikTok. He enjoys himself. He loves lamb videos. Yeah, no, yeah, he is. It is mad.
To be fair, you handle most of the TikTok stuff. I mean, you kind of handle most of the social media.
I felt
Unless I have a rant about something.
Yeah, I felt that with you boys, it was easier for me to just create stuff and give you the login than it was to try and persuade you to join in. If it was already there and I was like, oh, could you do this? And then you guys would just run with it.
Yeah, Hattie's really good at like kind of finding
Just not the
episodes and like clipping them down for like shorts. And then we've got a joint like airdrop cloud situation where we can take it in turns and be like, oh, that will be a good one for today, and just upload it onto every single one at the same time. So technically I don't have to look at TikTok.
Yes, that is.
I just have to
occasionally
use that one app to put it on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook all at the same time. Like done.
We have the same situation with Opus,
a lot of...
I think. So is it Opus Clip? It is Opus Clip, isn't it?
We started with Opus and then I wrote in because there were a couple of things we didn't need and a couple of things we did, and I just wanted to know if we could swap. Like, I'm not paying any money, so there's a really cheeky way of being like, hi, the free version, could we tinker it? They said no, obviously. Like,
you don't ask, you don't.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. There's a reason why there's a paywall, but you know. But yeah, Opus Clips is perfect. It's exactly one of those sites. It is,
And I think that's the other lovely thing, like Matt was saying with the networks and talking to other podcasters like yourselves. Even just things like that, knowing which software to use, and we originally recorded in COVID, pretty much like everyone did. We used Zoom, and then we were like, Zoom is great, but it's quite restrictive, and actually, what you can do with videos and audio is quite limited. And then we spoke to various podcasters, and it's quite it's a really nice atmosphere. Everyone seems to be out for each other and finding ways that they can promote each other.
We've found that with MCM, the same one when we met you guys. We were walking around. We had been active. That MCM was November, wasn't it?
Yeah, so we were only active.
We released our first episode in September because I was on ship. I did 6 weeks on ship, came back for 3 weeks before I appeared on tour.
Oh, so 2 months.
Yeah, so we'd only released maybe even 4 episodes at this point.
Yeah, we were babies.
And going around, like, everyone was lovely. We got chatting to Roll and Play Press, and instantly they're like, yeah, we'll do an interview with you guys. And we were like, oh my word, I'm so up for it. Life Size D&D. And then we stayed in touch with Brandon from there, because he's also featuring on that gameplay podcast that I'm doing as well. So, like, he's helped us, like, filter in, and everyone is just so lovely.
Yeah.
Willing to share tips. Like I said, our flatmate Kelly does YouTube, and every time we're struggling with any tech thing, she's like, take my camera. So we're using her camera, her mics, her overhead lights, and
think that we are even our... No, I was going to say the only thing we own currently is the laptop and the rope glass. That's it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Everything else is boy.
I literally looked at her and went, there don't be a hero, so it's all about superheroes and whatnot. Can I steal the gauntlet? Because no way she was letting me use the Yuba Tower.
Yeah, no way. She's like, touch Bailey View. You've got to be crazy.
I was debating asking if I could get...
Is that the Lego set? Is that the... Yeah.
Kelly is a Lego freak, so there's Lego everywhere. And Yeah. And
Okay, this is what we'll do. At the end of this interview, we will
I've
then.
already said.
Okay, if you pick up the laptop, I'll pick up the phone, and then we can do
Yes.
that. And then it means that we won't.
Yeah,
move.
I used to work for Lego, so I'm like a massive Lego fans. Yeah.
I have an age-old question for you:
Oh yeah.
Marvel or DC?
Oh.
Sorry.
Okay. Oh, it's so difficult to answer this. No,
It's not.
it's. Okay, you go first. You go first.
For me, I have the perfect way of answering this. I go Marvel for films and DC for TV.
No, okay.
That's sucked at it. Because like growing up, and I'm basing that on like Lifetime, like growing up, it was always the DC superhero films like Superman and then the animations and whatnot. And same with Marvel, but Marvel didn't do the TV films in the same way. They just hit the big screen. So that's how I've always shot that for this, that for that.
But that still works.
Doesn't mean for everyone.
No, but that still works today because HBO Max is releasing.
Penguin. Yeah, that's coming up next month.
Great season 2.
Yeah, but we have She-Hulk, the series that was almighty
Oh, true.
for Marvel.
Of course, yeah.
I think my answer to this would be that I think, you know, and I've got to pretext all of this by saying that me and Matt we're quite clear with that. Although we have read comics, we're coming from this very much from the TV and film and those universes. And I think personally, DC have the characters, but they've never been able to utilize them on screen. Whereas Marvel don't necessarily have the characters, but they ace what they do on the whole on TV and film.
Totally get that.
That's a brilliant answer. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
That's it. I think.
No, that's his.
Yeah, I know. I don't want to say you. No.
I try though.
I've always, people always say that.
Be much, try your hardest.
This sucked. DC apparently, so obviously people say, oh, it's grittier, it's darker, but and that's generally because at the time it was all Zack Snyder and all that kind of stuff. I think now going into James Gunn, I think, you know, taking over DC, we're going to get a really refreshing view of what DC can be in terms of storytelling. I love the DC comics and graphic novels, and that's kind of how I fell in love with superheroes. So I'd always kind of like lean towards kind of DC because that's kind of where the foundations for me were with like Superman, Batman. But I mean, I can't find a comparison of what I experienced when it was the MCU's going from phase 1 to end of phase 3 in Endgame. Just that whole cinematic experience, the anticipation to see every single movie, everything that was coming out, everything somehow threaded through into the next project. And it was something that we all, I think, collectively didn't really realize how amazing we had it back then. But like now we're in where we are with the MCU and all the stuff that's happened, you can sort of appreciate it. So, yeah, I'm in two minds. I will probably go lean towards DC just because of my history with DC, but I appreciate the heck out of Marvel's work, that's for sure.
Oh, there's definitely not one without the other. It's like any great music artist, like even if I'm going to use Nicki Minaj and Megan Thee Stallion as an example. They might be like enemies, but like the publication of each other, like trying to outdo each other. It's the same with Marvel and DC. Whether it's friendly competition or as rivals, they are constantly trying to better each other, to outdo each other. And if that's for their own personal gain or for fans, everyone's still winning.
Yeah.
Exactly.
With that being said, do you have a favorite superhero villain sidekick from your preferred universe,
Or from both.
Or from both?
My all-time favorite villain is the Joker. I remember vividly watching Dark Knight and Heath Ledger's Joker, and just being completely captivated by that performance. And obviously with the tragedy that happened after it and stuff, and became more synonymous around the character and stuff. but like growing up, my favorite comic is Killing Joke in DC, and that's a very Joker, like grim, more graphic version of the classic character. And so the villain for Joker is definitely, I think it's something that I just kind of love to read and watch. And obviously what Joaquin Phoenix is doing with it as well, with the second one as well. Can't wait to see it happen.
I'm slightly gutted because in my head all day, when you've sent me these questions, my answer was going to be Joker. And I'm swooped in there as quick as he can and stolen it. I think for me, because I think me and Matt are quite similar in terms of we're both actors and directors, and we quite like our darker, grittier tales anyway, and plays and whatever it happens to be. And I think Joker there's so much psychology there, and so much to play with, and rich substance. And I think that's what the Batman universe, Gotham, does so well, is that most, if not all, of their characters have it's the psychological element of it, which I think is quite often missing with your generic superheroes that get themselves a power. But if I'm going to be not boring and just pick the same one, I would say the hero that I remember as a child, and again is a superhero that I don't think has ever been given justice, is the Hulk. I loved the Hulk as a kid, and I quite liked. I like the Hulk, but it's never been. In the same way you could argue about Fantastic Four and that whole conversation has it ever really been put on screen to the best that it could be put on? And I don't think it has.
Not when Ed Norton was messing with the script.
Yeah.
No. Too true.
I would personally, if they announced a film with Mark Ruffalo, I'd be so game, because I think how he handled it for like the sort of Avengers series was so good. I'm not doing for that.
100%. I think I have a feeling there is an opportunity, isn't there, for they brought in his son so they can do the war. I can't remember what the name of it is, Matt. You know the comic is a World War Hulk or War Hulk. Hulk War.
Something with Fair and Hulk.
It's got those two words in some way. And it looks like it's headed to that. And I think that might be our first opportunity for a film. And if they don't do that, then I think they'll wait until Mark goes enough's enough, and they'll bring in somebody new, and they'll completely rejuvenate the Hulk. But yeah, looking forward to it.
To piggyback off those questions of favorite hero, sidekicks, or villains, if there is an actor that you could put into a specific role that already exists, but this actor hasn't, they might already be in the universes, but they've not played that role. Is there an actor that you would put in a specific role that you'd love to see?
Oh my God, that's a great question. I'm just in the process of watching the new series of Umbrella Academy. And
yes,
so Tom Hopper, I've been watching Tom Hopper's performances. I'm going, this guy needs to get cast in the MCU. He's got some serious charm.
Okay,
Number one.
Yeah.
And I'm just trying to, but I haven't found the answer because I've been thinking about this for the last week, trying to think what kind of character he should be in the MCU. But I can definitely see him obviously as a Peter Quill kind of situation, to see him as something that's quirky, charming, but also able to kind of be the leader amongst a group or something, the unassuming leader maybe.
Fantastic Four. I can't remember the leader of Fantastic Four.
Mr. Fantastic.
Yeah, but his acting name, not his superhero name.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He could be a good Reed Richards. Yeah. What about oh well, gosh, there was what's the other guy? What's Sentry? Is it Sentry? We've got a new Sentry. Yeah, that
yeah.
But that'd be cool. Yeah, Hopper needs to be in it.
He's certainly shown a lot of growth over his career. I remember seeing him in a weird sort of teenage horror film called, was it called Twisted or Tormented?
Okay.
It had Ollie Alexander in it as well, and basically like some high school ghost just goes back for all the bullies, and he was one of them. It was just so random, and I remember seeing him in that, and then I was like, "Oh, you've appeared." I'm pretty sure he was in Merlin. Yes. And he obviously had a role in Game of Thrones. Yeah, and I was like, "Oh, okay, I'm understanding your character, or like your
like progression."
Yeah, and I was like, "Fair play." Every time I've been like, "Do you know what?" Because that first film, it's something called Tormented. I was like, "What is this?" It had Alex Pettyfer in it. The hedge girl from Wild Child. Look at me and my references. But yeah, and Ollie Alexander. I was just like, it is such a jump. But when you actually see such good growth in an actor, even if they've had, everyone's got to start somewhere. You guys get that as actors. Like, everyone starts. You don't always have the most glamorous job, but work is work, and they keep climbing.
Yeah.
Amazing. This is going to be probably one of the most controversial things I've ever said.
Here we go.
And I've said some controversial things on my podcast.
Here we are.
We can clickbait with this.
Yes, we can. Go on, sir.
So I think that I would like a Thor movie. Right, and this is like brand new Thor, brand new everything.
With Liam Hemsworth.
Where?
Liam.
Breaking the Arthur Hemsworth.
Said controversial. I was like, is this where we're going?
I would put Nick Frost as Odin, so his father.
Okay.
And then the
Simon
son,
Pegg.
this is the controversial bit. No, Jonah Hill. Because I think Thor can be quite right. Thor can generally be quite flexible casting because he's a dod, and everything about him screams this is just an entitled brat, right? And he can well be. And actually, it can be the opposite with Loki. And I think Nick Frost. If you look at Nick Frost and Jonah Hill, that they could absolutely play father and son anyway.
What's the age gap between the two of them? Just out of curiosity.
I think Nick Frost is older than you think. I believe. Nick Frost is 52, mate. So Nick Frost is 52, and Jonah Hill is definitely about 30.
Please, William.
Oh, okay, all right.
Can age them up, but like, it's fine. It's cinema. We can either make them look younger, makeup works, or CGI to make them older. Do you get what I mean? Like, now that I've seen their pictures next to each other, I am so here.
Mate, what a curveball! I was the last names I would ever expect.
Yeah, absolutely.
I know. But trust me, because we know Jonah Hill and Nick Frost, they can do some drama, right? They've got when the time comes, they've got some acting chomps, and I think problem with Thor up to now is it's been too comedy driven or too serious. If you get two actors who are well known in comedy, who do drama. You don't need to write it either way. They'll do it for you.
And when the time comes for that comedy, it's a genuine moment. Not I'm just going to shove so much in your face. So that was Nick Frost as Odin and Jonah Hill as Thor.
Yeah.
And that's like,
Do you have this in your head? I want to know who internet make it happen. I want to know who the rest of the cast is. In this version,
I've got the logo
in my savage, and I know the comments are going to be mad.
So then, for me, if we're going down this, Loki, Ashley Walters, the PG Tips guy, who's also a comedian.
Are we actually making Thor? Are we making Thor the parody?
Sorry, Ashley. Who?
Is that his name? Walters.
What? Definitely not the
Oh,
guy that's the British actor and rapper.
Oh,
I don't think it's the one.
Done. Johnny Vegas.
That's the somehow his came up with Ashley Later's name on top of it, and I was like, I'm not sure that's a yes.
The antithesis of each other. That's amazing.
Couldn't get further apart.
But yeah, Johnny Vegas is low.
Oh, that's so
Just a hat
good.
trick.
Oh, okay. So I had thought of this, guys, and I thought that what we could have for Loki was, and I've just got to find the guy. You might know. Oh, it is the guy who played Samuel Tarly, John Bradley in Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
Oh, he does drama really, really well. If you have watched the Three-Headed Problem, I think it is. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the one. So them three, right, would be the most insane casting. But trust the process, is all I'm saying.
No, I'm so here for that.
Internet.
You guys should pitch it. Yeah.
I'm a bigger guy myself, so I'll always support the bigger actors, but I think actually Thor would be perfect for that.
Yep.
Because it's not about that.
Oh my god.
It'd be genius.
I honestly, I cannot believe it. Ludicrous.
Someone I would genuinely love to see in one of those universes. I don't know where they would fit in or as who, but just because you mentioned Game of Thrones, Ewan Reardon.
Yeah.
I love him, not just because he's also Welsh, but I remember him in Misfits assignment.
Misfits was insane.
Oh, of course.
He is such a lovely person.
Misfits is one of the most underrated, greatest British shows ever, right? It's insane.
And it's superheroes, so when you were reviewing it.
Very good point, Matt.
I guess I won.
100%. 100%.
When are we doing Misfits? Love that.
Loves that show.
And if any show was deserved a film, then I think it's that. They could bring him back. They could bring him back easy.
Good. Robert Sheehan as well was amazing as well. Like you've got all of those guys back. Yeah. That'd be cool.
And they all went on to do pretty well for themselves in other
Yeah.
aspects. And I don't think a single one of them kind of had a slow moment.
No.
No, at that time, like British people, because at the time of Misfits, I was probably old, like elderly teen. So, and at the same time, we had Skins and all kinds of stuff, man. It was incredible. It was an incredible moment for British TV. Channel 4 back then was pretty smashed it.
If we were to talk like pure cinematography from like directing, scenery, scripts, visuals, all that sort of stuff, special effects, what is the one film you'd recommend to someone to just sit down and watch?
Go.
If we're talking superheroes.
Logan.
Oh.
Logan. Just straight off the bat. I rewatched it straight after watching Deadpool and Wolverine, and I went, you know what? I haven't seen it in a while. And I rewatched it, and cinematography-wise, and just kind of just enjoying it for what it is, and for it being an incredibly unique story from a superhero standpoint, it is nothing short of a masterpiece, in my view. It's so good. We haven't reviewed it yet, so I really want us to, but yeah. Logan, straight off the bat.
I think, again, I've mentioned it already, but Guardians of the Galaxy 3 was just superb. Like, just this.
I saw.
It was, yeah. And how many superhero films could you say that it genuinely would move you to tears? But it was fantastic. What I want to go, and this is a bit of an old one. When did it come out? Can't see it, but I remember watching 2003, The League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, and I remember it was quality.
Yes.
It was a quality film, right? And I loved it, and I'd love to go. I think we should watch that.
Yeah.
I literally loved that film. Like growing up, films were definitely a bit more restricted for me growing up in my household. Parents were of, Christian faith, absolutely fine. Just didn't enjoy certain things. So like Harry Potter was not welcomed in our house at all. Lord of the Rings was one of our favorites, but then Tolkien was also a professed Christian. But like that is one of the films I remember watching so many times, with my parents, which is like in general, and it was just so good. It covered so many different sort of like stories just being tied together with Jekyll and Hyde, and it's just so good.
Definitely want to go back and watch that. Now I've mentioned it. I mentioned it out of nowhere, but it was just like, unlocked. But yeah, it's a great film.
Yeah.
Did you ever watch the first Van Helsing as well? That was around the same time as the Van Helsing film, and that was pretty epic.
Yeah.
Is that who's in that? Oh my goodness, I can picture him, but I could not tell you his name.
It's the
Wolverine.
Jackman, yeah.
Is that? Yeah. Then absolutely.
You ever seen that, Matt?
Yeah.
This is bringing, because Kate Beckinsale's in it. Yeah. This is bringing back memories. I cannot believe that is Hugh Jackman.
I can see what little Matt was interested in, can't we? But yeah, no. So
Was he no shame? Because
To be fair,
and they're all in corsets. Like it's a very stylized film.
I mean, that woman is incredible.
Yeah.
She needs to be in DC or Marvel. She's not been in yet, right?
I don't know. I'm not the right person to ask.
No.
No, she would be great. She'd be great.
But yeah, anyway, I've talked enough. But yeah, those two. Shut those down.
Okay. If you could redirect any superhero film, any of them, or TV, we'll expand it. We'll expand it even more. Which one would you? Yeah, which one would it be?
And why?
Oh.
It could be a good reason. Like the film or series was just that epic, you would want to redo it, or was it that bad that you want to give it another go, like She-Hulk?
I have a super.
I've been seen She-Hulk, and it was on the list, but now I'm starting to question whether I should just leave it for like a night's binge or actually take time. Like, oh, okay, night's binge it is.
I feel like the writers didn't give. I didn't watch it all properly, I'll be honest, but what I saw is I just feel like the writers didn't give it the service
It needed.
Okay.
That's exactly it.
Yeah,
That's exactly
I
it.
felt like it was let down, and everyone in terms of like the acting team involved, it came across as, oh, we've got a female lead. Do we care? And I thought that was a shame, because actually it could have been really good. Like I hate that sort of narrative that comes across.
Yeah, what it felt like it could have been is that kind of family element of breaking the fourth wall, like Deadpool, but for younger audiences. So,
Yes.
do you know what I mean? Like, and wrapping that around it with just better storytelling. But like, that was the whole thing for She-Hulk, and it just did not come across. It's a shame. It's a real shame. Yeah. Okay. All right. So I have a non-superhero one and a superhero one.
Okay.
I've always dreamed about directing a reimagined version of Back to the Future.
Contra.
I was not expecting that at all.
Yeah. So it's like my all-time favorite.
What would you do differently?
They wouldn't go back. They wouldn't go back. They would go
In the future.
Johnny B. Good's removed. We'll find a different song.
It's called Staying in the Present.
No. You are nowhere near this project. That is a bad decision.
Oh God.
Yeah, no, I just think that
This is the new generation.
yeah, for a new generation, for the Gen Zers.
But I'm going to say.
No, I think in terms of what I would do, I'd like to be, truthful to what it is, and be like respectful to the originals. But like, it just feels like there's such an opportunity of making it more, not Doctor Who-y, but like Doctor Who-y. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's got an opportunity of going into other timelines and exploring other. It's like it's like the butterfly effect. Do you know what I mean? Have you watched that?
Yep.
So it's kind of like the butterfly effect, Back to the Future, mixed in with kind of playing around with your different timelines and your different kind of occurrences and stuff, and using it that way. And then just, I mean, I love Back to the Future Part 2, which is literally my favourite movie of all time. But like the way that story is told and how it's told, I'd just love to have the opportunity just to play around with that. It'd be so cool. But my superhero answer would be Spider-Man. Spider-Man, any day.
Which one?
Yeah.
I mean,
All of them?
I'd like to rework maybe an origin story. But I don't know what that would be. Do you know what I mean?
Okay.
Play around with
Do you
that
have a
first or-
particular actor of...
Yeah.
So would you direct...
What they do.
Yeah.
I would like to, if I was working with any Spidey, it would be Andrew Garfield Spidey. He seems like a good person to work with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
You're not agreeing with Forrest. Forrest is giving me the eye.
No. I'm sorry. I'm just thinking of my own answer. I'm basically totally ignoring what you've got to say, man. But no. Okay. I think, and now I've totally forgotten what I think. I was going to say, oh my God, what was I going to say? Something early doors in Marvel I would have redone, because originally I was going to say the Hulk, but I think everything about that needed changing. Me redirecting it weren't going to do anything, so that's just a whole new film. But there was I would love to redirect the very first Thor film for reasons that we've spoken about. I think that actually. Just the series of it has gone from like super drama, super comedy, and it's like actually this just needed a happy medium the whole time. We've got Loki who's mischievous. The whole thing is mischievous, so it needs to be that. So I think for superhero, I would do that, and for non-superhero, I would random. I would redirect the Final Destination series. And
that's good.
my reason is, having recently rewatched all of them, Sword does a perfect thing where it has a series arc, right? Whether you agree with that arc is any good or whatever. Whereas Final Destination is very much like, we're just going to repeat the same film and add a teeny-weeny little bit to it, which is completely irrelevant to anything else. And I think Final Destination had a really lovely opportunity where, and they kind of do it in a really cheap way in the last film, right? In the last 5 seconds, he goes back on the plane. But there could have been a real good series arc to that. So I'd like to redirect and make that so.
Oh, would you limit the amount of... Because Final Destination, there's a lot, isn't there? They have like... over 4 or 5 films now. Is it Final Destination like 7 or something? Would you shrink it down so that it was just like Final Destination 1, 2, and 3, and we're done?
Yeah. And yeah, exactly that, and make it a real strong story. Second one is incredible. Like, second and third one are incredible, but they just need an overall arc. Finish it off, job done.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I just had another one in my head. Iron Man 3 was a disappointment in my book. And what they didn't do is that they didn't play into the PTSD that Tony Stark was experiencing after the Battle of New York. And I would have liked to have seen, and if I got a chance to redirect that, I would have pitched it in a more kind of like Logan kind of tone, but like putting it into Iron Man 3, something that's a little bit more grittier, a little bit more kind of exploring the mental health of Tony Stark, because it's huge. It's a huge thread in the comics as well, and it's never really... Because he goes into alcoholism, all of that kind of thing. Yeah. And it doesn't get explored at all. So I'd really like to have seen more of that, and I would have put that in Iron Man 3. Yeah.
And an actor like Robert Downey Jr. could so go there. Like, you've got a great actor at the helm of that character, so why not?
Do you have one?
I do, yeah.
What is your...
No, I wanted yours, though.
No, you first, please.
If I'm going superhero movie, and I know it's one of, like, the worst rated ones ever,
Oh, this is
Yeah,
okay.
I need to make sure I got the correct title because I always know I mess it up.
Yeah.
Batman and Robin, as in the one with Uma Thurman, and like as a kid, I loved everything about it. Poison Ivy has always been one of my ultimate favorite like DC villains.
Yeah.
I love nature and I love magic when it gets to D&D, so it makes total sense. I think the film could have been epic, just unfortunately, like the writing behind it didn't do the justice it needed, and you had some amazing actors in that film that can really do a lot. I would probably get rid of the Iceman part of that film. I didn't feel like it needed it. I understand what they were trying to do, but I feel like you could just have Uma Thurman because that was kind of playing enough off all the tensions between them anyway. I also think that film is like the perfect bisexual person's like playground into fantasy because you got Robin. You got Robin in like the first ever suit that shows absolute nippleage, and then you've got Uma Thurman looking snatched AF.
She's basically not wearing anything.
Yeah, and like that scene, like as he's crossing like the giant lily ponds, I'm just like, yeah, like even though I'm there, like, yeah, right.
What about?
Matt's being all like, no, I didn't notice that, actually. I don't. I'll have to rewatch it.
I remember watching it so much growing up. Maybe that's where things started to go wrong with me, but who knows? In terms of a non-film, non-superhero film, I adore Labyrinth.
Is this Pans or David Bowie?
David Bowie. Yes, absolutely obsessed with that film. And if I was to put someone in it, because I don't know how you replace someone like Bowie, it can't be taken lightheartedly. I would actually consider putting someone like Lady Gaga in that role, because the way they do a tribute to someone, we saw it with Sinatra, we saw it with Bowie, that she did those tributes, and we know she can do quirky acting. And if you need someone who has that sort of presence, I don't know if we have a male artist out there currently who does that. And that's not saying we've got crap artists out there, because we don't. But like in terms of that sort of essence, I'm not sure we have it yet. Like Troye Sivan's getting there, but is not there yet.
Or if Lady Gaga couldn't do it, I would also suggest, based on her performance in The Hunger Games, Elizabeth Banks, who I think might be incredible in that kind of role.
Yeah, out there. I thought you were about to say Rachel Zeitner.
Oh, no.
It's like we are in different worlds.
Yeah, no, Elizabeth Banks, her Effie was incredible, and I, in all honesty, don't think she really got a lot of time in it, really. So
she did a lot in a very small.
Exactly that, yeah. So, but yeah, Labyrinth, quality for that. It's a brilliant film,
right? And imagine what we could do to it with today's technology and CGI.
100%.
Without ruining it. A lot of budget would have to go into that film. I'm not having my name attached to it and find out I murdered the thing. Because there'd be no coming back from that.
No
one would give you a second chance. Like, you ruined one of the biggest films ever. Yeah. Congratulations. Yeah.
You also know that the Bog of Eternal Stench will be an actual, like, Disney resort thing as well, right? It's just have loads. You can actually go around. It would be insane. I love it.
That would,
I feel like that could be a live interaction thing as well with the costumes and everything.
Yeah.
Yes. I would pay a lot of money to be in a live experience for Labyrinth. That would be.
Has that happened? Oh my God, that should be a thing.
If live D&D exists, it can be a live Labyrinth. That's all I'm saying.
It's the cost to do it would be, because the puppets would be insane, right? Because that's the thing, you can't do it with humans with just a bit of costume. It would have to be proper puppet.
And we're talking like the Lion King puppetry as well. Like they absolutely, and very intricate. No, I've forgotten. All forgotten. Okay, I was like, I'm going to agree, and like, yeah, let's talk about it more. Okay, I am not a big like superhero girly.
Yeah, you're not.
So I have the non-superhero one ready. but I have no idea what my superhero one would be, and I'm hoping it will appear before the end of the episode, but we'll get there. I want to redirect Hunger Games 1. I want to redo it. I think it's awful. I think it's genuinely a very bad film. 2, 3, 4, perfect, beautiful, stunning. Hunger Games 1, come on now.
Oh.
So, I read those books like cover to cover when I was in school. Like religiously, it was all we spoke about. We dressed up as them for like Red Nose Day and all of this. And then we got the film and I was like, what is happening?
Fair.
What is going on? Just have a little bit more, just lean a little bit more. Have people who care. Don't have extras that, like, when the camera pans round, they're like visibly yawning. Like, come on. Just, like, have a little bit more spice. Just have I understand the budget is what it is. Maybe we put a few more coins into making things not look shit.
Budget's a bad excuse considering you have some small films with incredibly small budgets, but they end up being some biggest films of the year. Budget does not beget.
No, and it just kind of, they misplaced it, I think. They did not look at the numbers for what they were, and therefore you have effects that were not good. You've got set that was not good.
I'm with you.
And I'm just like, you have Elizabeth Banks. Come on.
And I don't know if you agree, Hattie, but also because like I say, I can't remember why I was rewatching it, but rewatched it all anyway. And one of the things I kind of realised as well is that they like from the second film onwards, they go immediately, they bring in a darker tone. It was like the first film, they tried to pitch it to like kids. And I'm like, it's not a kid's thing, right? They're killing. Yeah.
And like they kind of like gloss over all of the, like, her father dies in a horrific way. Don't be showing me a flashback of her looking at like a fireplace. I don't want to, and you hear a big boom. No, her father dies in a horrific way. Let's show it.
Okay.
Up that age rating. Let's go.
We've heard they're killing children in a film.
Yeah.
Well, exactly that. And am I right in thinking that the first one came out just as Harry Potter was getting going, right, with their films?
Oh, that's a very good question. Because
I was at least in sixth form when the first one came out, so that would have been 2010 to 12.
And it was Maze Runner were the other contenders for it was like children's limerick and turned into, and you had Hunger Games and Maze Runner and Twilight, if I remember correctly. Twilight finished.
Yeah.
Do you know what? I think it was that. I think Harry Potter may have been rounded off by then. Twilight bridged the gap before Hunger Games.
And they were just all trying to go for a young age demographic. They were trying to get that Harry Potter success without realising the themes are way too adult for that. And actually it needs to be an adult film.
I mean, it had been a year since Harry Potter had ended. Harry Potter ended 2011 and Hunger Games came out 2012. So you had you were still you had the hype to ride on.
Yeah.
But the books were great. There's a reason why we all love the books. Don't start off the film franchise, and it's film one. The ones afterwards can be awful. Film one has to be great,
Yeah.
Just come on.
Yeah.
That would be what I would redo. I read the other book the other day, and I was like, they really could have done better,
Yeah.
And my I don't have a superhero one. It will materialize, I hope.
Just say the one that we've gone and seen together.
Yes.
I remember his hair. I don't remember.
Black Panther 2 was a masterpiece and a mess with it.
No, that's fair.
Don't be like...
It's the only one that I know that you have seen because we saw it together.
Very true. For context, I did not watch Disney, Marvel or anything growing up. It was not something that I was privy to. So I entered into university and everyone was discussing pop culture. Be a
Film degree.
Okay, thank you for that. I need to be outed in this way, Em, honestly. And everyone was having pop culture and we're talking about all these things that I have absolutely no idea what's going on. And I think yeah, there was like Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man was probably the first one I watched because my brother got it on DVD, and that was how that was introduced. And then there was a couple in the cinema, but not an awful lot past that. So starting from 20 years old, we started with the Disney princesses, and we're working our way up.
I've got quite a group that quite a lot of them are like Marvel and DC and everything. So, because Kelly had never really watched anything Marvel, so when I first moved in, we took her from the beginning in chronological order of everything, and then caught her up to the point that, this is 3 years ago now.
Mm-hmm.
What was the big films that were coming out about 3 years ago in the Marvel universe?
That was like Endgame.
Was that Endgame? Endgame would have been around
No,
then?
that was longer
Just
than
before.
3 years ago.
It was a big one.
It would have been
Black Widow.
3 years ago. Yeah, Black Widow was one.
Hmm.
But that flopped massively.
Because it would have been all the ones affected by COVID.
Multiverse
and
of
Black
Madness,
Widow.
No Way Home, Spider-Man No Way Home, maybe.
Do you know what? I think it might have been them. Yeah.
I will redirect Black Widow. I have seen this one. I know this one. I get this reference. And so I bet, I would redirect. I don't know what I'd do with it, to be honest. I'd just be like, yes, this is great. We'll do this one.
Yeah.
This is my choice.
It's a film. It's a superhero as me.
I did the criteria. But yeah, I'd probably redirect it so there is more focus on the collective trauma that this family has been through, and we're not glossing over it just for a magical Hollywood finish, basically. It's probably what I would do. A win. Thank you so much. Thank you. I've completely forgotten where we are. We did have questions.
No, we do. We mentioned earlier. There we go. I got you.
Thank you.
We mentioned earlier, obviously, talking about how we cover D&D and tabletop.
Oh,
and
quite
we asked
yes.
you about your experience with that. If there was an open world hero setting of like Marvel or DC, and you could choose a hero, sidekick, or villain to play as a D&D character, who would you play?
Yes.
Ooh.
Mine out the gate, Scarlet Witch.
Yeah, it would be something like that. Maybe Doctor Strange, just because of the magic element and stuff, the power behind that as well. You can do a lot with that in a D&D setting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Magic is what I love most about D&D. And then some sexy bitch in red leather. Yeah.
That's what they call me.
100%.
I was gonna say, you need to stop describing your Saturdays on the podcast.
I need to make friends. Yeah. You meet some strange people at MCN.
I think it's for similar, maybe like Reed Richards for a similar reason, because he's hyper intelligent and we'll be able to, we'll be able to do some cool things there.
He'll be perceptive.
Thank you for bringing the D&D side in, Matt, because I wouldn't have known that word, so that's good.
Yeah,
perceptive. He would have been perceptive. Yeah, brilliant. That's the one.
You really don't need to know much about D&D.
Yeah, and he's intelligent. Yeah,
you really don't. It's just like, who would you want to play? Because I think that's how people get tired. Is you see things and go, oh, well, if I could play a character like that, and that's how I kind of got Kelly and Kevin the first time as a player. They knew I'd play, and I hadn't long moved in. I was doing a one shot with some of my friends, and I was like, if you guys want to play, because they were like game people. Our entire friendship group are. We'll meet up, do board games, and they'll do colour games, which is rude. I'm colourblind, and they sat me down to play a game called Hues Clues.
Hues and Cues, yeah.
You've got to describe the colour that is on your card and hope people can guess the colour on the board. So it'd be like, it is a peach, or like SpongeBob
Yeah.
or Patrick Starfish, and then you've got to try and figure out what they mean, and it's just a whole board of colours.
Oh, no. No. That doesn't sound fair.
I came Saturday to watch that.
He was really good at it. Like, really.
I was the only one, don't have the anyone in the game to actually land perfectly on a colour.
Like, spooky good at it.
Yeah. And they were like, "Are you lying?" I was like, "No, it's on my medical records." I'm not allowed to do certain jobs because of this. Yeah.
Well, maybe that should be the next time you go for a job interview. You're like, I may not be able to see the wires, but I can be an electrician because I will beat you at Q's and Q's.
Yeah, there was a really good. I watched a reel from Deborah Ann Wool, who plays Karen Page
Yeah.
in Daredevil, but she's also a famous dungeon master as well.
Yeah.
And she was on the John Bernthal podcast, who's the Punisher, recently. And and John Bernthal was like, "What's D&D? I have no idea what D&D is." And she's like, "The only way of me doing it is if we do it right now." And literally,
So the 5 minutes ago.
yeah, so she just described just kind of the concept of it and just went through a bit of improvisation, storytelling, and literally within a minute he was playing D&D, and she was doing like perception checks and stuff and all that kind of stuff. And I was like, that is the perfect explanation of what D&D is.
Yeah.
And I think that's why I came in, I joined in D&D kind of at quite late in the game, I'd say. But if I'd known what this was years ago, oh my God, it would have opened up so many just techniques just from an acting perspective, but to storytelling and just base level as well. I mean, it's just such a good example of it. Yeah, totally recommend watching that if anybody hasn't seen it.
I totally feel you when you say on the acting stuff, because for me, I got into it during lockdown where no work was happening.
Yeah.
And like you guys said, you're trained actors. I did a musical theatre degree, and it was me and my performer friends just playing it like literally every week, sometimes every day, because nothing else was happening. And whilst auditions were dry and I was feeling like there's nothing to do to keep the skills up, it was the best thing I had on me to improvise and roll dice to help decide things. And then sort of like the dice might tell you a certain way, and then you've got to literally roll with it and change how you're doing things. And I was like, this is actually fun, but B, just keeping you sharp with everything.
Yeah. And even the one game that I played with Matt, it's just brilliant. It's like escapism and creating a world with like literally a dice and a map. And it's insane. You go and watch a 2-hour film and you're engrossed with like literally millions having been spent to create this world, and you can just do it, in your living room with 4 people. It's insane. It's brilliant.
When you were halfling, I think you were a halfling, weren't you, in that day? What was the character's name?
Dobby McFree, I believe it was. Was it? Dobby McFree.
Just all times.
No, but what was your one? You had an awesome name.
Mine was Voldo Prosecco.
Was it? I thought it was David. Who did the veto?
Oh no, that was my other one. Danny. I was oh God, was it Danny DeVimpto? Because I had Vimpto on me. Yeah.
Yes. This is the Royal Stars Games we could be in.
Oh, we have had a glorious time with names. I'm sorry, this was while you were away. We've had to betrayal. Yes, well, how does it feel? For context, M is a brilliant DM, but the one theme that you have is betrayal. I have been betrayed or led to be betrayed by a couple of our very good friends in your games. It is a theme that you like to throw in. Normally towards the end, we'll get a twist. One of us will be evil. They will then take us on. It's like, yeah. So how does it feel?
I'm here for it.
Yes, well. But yeah, we've had good person look innocent because they were, of course, a good person who was innocent.
So innocent.
I love it.
They were a con man trying to like con them into being a chef. We've had names like this, so I won't worry.
Also, what happened? Kevin joined randomly one session, and his character was called Bitch Fiticus.
Yes.
So everyone just nicknamed him Bitch Fit. And then he was a Goliath.
Yeah, who threw a bitch fit.
Every time he started, he's like, I rage.
That was his rage.
It wasn't I rage, it was I throw a bitch fit.
Yeah. It was like, so.
But didn't like it if someone else addressed him as bitch fit, always be like, oh.
Yeah.
He was like, no.
I think names in D&D is half the fun.
Yeah.
Creating the character profile, everything. Yeah.
It's something that is almost, if you pick the right one,
Yeah.
like the Christmas one shot, we had like the names that we were quite literally throwing around between all of us were things like snowballs.
Kelly Slayer Swift.
Yeah. Like, you gotta have fun.
Yeah. What were you?
Brandy Butter.
Oh yeah, you were Brandy Butter.
Yeah.
Thing was Peppermint.
Yes, she was, yeah.
And then we ruined Will with this. He called himself Timsel.
So Timothy Sal.
Yeah, Timothy Sal. And he was like, yeah, Tinsel for short. So he was like, Tinsel, get it? And literally in the game, we're all dying because I just went, it's too close to incel, if I'm honest. So then we just had Timothy the Timsel incel running through the entire thing. And he's like, you have ruined my character. But he was the only male in the game.
Yeah.
So then it just added to dynamics, and he was a dwarf barbarian.
Yeah.
He failed a strength check to open the door. And at this point, the girl's like, can we just like
step over him?
Yeah. And my description was, after you failed the door, you begrudgingly sit there as three women stand in front of you, literally push you to the side, and it's just like, I was like, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think, yeah, you gotta have a game. You gotta have a good name. If you were to play any Marvel or DC world as a D&D tabletop game, which one would you choose?
Like, it could be a specific film world, or you could even just chat like the universe setting, if that makes sense.
Oh, I tell you what, Civil War, just to as a concept, yeah. So have all the different superheroes together, and then they just fight against each other. Yeah, that's Civil War. Yeah.
Oh, nice. I would do Gotham, because I'd love to go into prison and just all of these like characters like get released and loads of them. Yeah, it'd be awesome.
So it's set in Gotham prison.
Set in Gotham prison. Yeah, would be insane. Like, I just think,
that would be an amazing dungeon crawl.
I mean, Gotham City as a general has so much potential that you can have the prison, have every other aspect.
Like Arkham Asylum as well.
Oh yeah.
Well, we've got another episode. Let's go.
You joke.
Yeah, but for the idea that
Dobby Hook 3's coming out. Oh my god, he is free. He's a free out.
That was it.
Sorry.
That was beautiful. That was yeah.
Turns out W. McCree is just the missing personality of the Joker. Just like one of the final split personalities. He's free. Yes. Oh, starts killing again.
Oh no. Oh dear. I guess. But one of the things we've played around with for our season 3, and it is kind of, it's more helpful if you are new to have something that you are familiar with. So we're kind of looking at pop culture, and superhero films do this really well because everyone has a power, and with that power, be it magic or strength, or we can link it better to the characters of D&D. But ideally, we're going to go through pop culture, and we are going to hopefully make the characters into D&D characters and make the worlds into small little one-shot TTRPGs. Yeah.
I love that.
So like,
that's amazing because it'll open up a whole new audience as well.
Yeah. And that is literally how I got Kevin in when I referenced that game before. I never actually made the point with it. He was like, I would want a character like this. And he basically went, I want a Batman, but also a bit of Loki. And I was like, wonderful. You would be a rogue arcane trickster.
Yes.
Because even Batman is quite roguey. He's not all brute strength. He's very dexterous and tactile. And then Loki is naturally, he is a rogue through and through. So it's like, that is the perfect combination to do that.
Yeah. But yeah, that's our plan. So if you have any films that you think actually this would be great as either a character or as a tabletop game, then shout, because
we're going so many things.
So many ideas around.
We do, because why not? That would be fun. Even Golden Girls, because there's an actual link to the second edition of D&D with Golden Girls.
But even while we're having this conversation, Gotham, the TV series that's based in the D&D, why didn't we think of this?
Yeah.
That needs to go on the list.
So also, like, all the ones on Netflix where you've got, like, Daredevil and all of them would tie in so well with so many things, because a lot of them are in the same world, if not adjacent. So it would be so easy to bring them over. And then people have got some bomb-ass characters to play with, and the storyline can be set in that world, but you can make whatever you want from it. Take a carbon copy of a film or an episode, or just make your own thing, but that's the setting.
Yeah. So, yeah. You heard it here first.
Yeah, let's go. Now, we do have kind of like a little bit of a game. Don't freak out. So,
make it better.
There's like two parts. One is a very quick little trivia game that is solely based on your own podcast. The faces. And then we have a bit of like a this or a that situation. Now, if it doesn't go well, we can fully edit this out.
Okay.
Basically, I was listening and I was going, oh, this sounds like fun.
So yeah. Go on, you take. No, this has been all your thing.
We'll find out.
Yeah.
So in your very first episode ever, Forrest, you described Tony Stark as suited, booted, and from the start.
This is amazing. I love this. This is my favourite game I've ever played.
I do have multiple options if you would like them, or if you think you can do it without.
Suited, booted, and it's got to be, I reckon I picked some like personality trait. Yeah, I'd like the options.
Okay.
Can I have them?
So you've got suited, booted, and intelligent from the start. Suited, booted, and asshole from the start, or suited, booted, and arrogant from the start.
Oh, I think I know it.
I think it's C. I think it's arrogant.
Matt?
I think it's B.
It's sorry, me, bud. Oh, it is that one.
Asshole.
All right.
I literally just remember having it in my ear and just being like, wait, what did he just say? Yeah, that's what I thought.
That is amazing.
Clout.
I had 10 seconds.
I was like, oh, maybe I've said something really intelligent, thought-provoking. And no, just arsehole.
I mean, I would say it is thought-provoking. I mean, you're not wrong in that description, let's be fair. He comes across so... Asshole is just a common way of saying arrogant, let's be fair.
He is all of those things, though. He is intelligent and arsehole and arrogant.
That's why I put them together.
Oh, yeah. Fair enough. I'll let you do your game, sorry.
I love that.
Okay, so your second one. It's Our Birthday, First Year Anniversary podcast was released on what day?
Ooh, first anniversary.
Now, I went with release.
Day.
Yeah, I went with release because I don't know if you record it before or if it was all the same time. But yeah, what day did you release it on for your first anniversary?
Is this the one we did round yours, Matt, for the first year? And I think if we did it round yours, we wouldn't have done it during the week. I think this is a Friday job, and I reckon it went out. It wouldn't have gone out the same day, though. Ooh,
Maybe Saturday. Maybe we threw it in a weekend.
I reckon so.
Usually it's a Wednesday. Usually our uploads are on Wednesdays, which are soon to change as well. We're about to change that, but like, is that?
It's when you started earlier in the interview. So if that helps us trying to think of your anniversary, that might help. To at least give you a ballpark.
Oh, mate. So would it be? So do you want the date or the day? Sorry,
Either. I've got both.
Yeah.
you've got both. So because it was I know it's the 18th that we did our first ever release, and that would have been on a Wednesday, Matt. So did we just do it on the 18th the following year?
Maybe it's the 18th. Should we go with
That's
should we go with that?
so close.
So close.
Oh, it's the 19th.
No.
17th.
17th. You kept it on that Wednesday.
Yeah.
So you stay. But 17th May 2023.
Amazing.
This is what a lovely trip down memory lane. This is.
Oh, it's great.
I'll tell you what, this is fantastic. My favourite.
You guys are going to leave and be like, the interview was all right, but dear God.
That ending. Oh, chef's kiss.
Okay. In your episode, phase 2, episode 6, what film were you discussing?
This is me. They soon return tomorrow if we get invited on theirs.
I know. That's when we
Yeah, you wait.
I'm not done.
I am.
Okay,
Yeah,
I'm okay
phase
with-
2, episode 6, if that helps.
I think I'm gonna go slightly right. I think it might be the first Guardians film, Matt. That is around the time where it certainly appeared in Marvel. It didn't come in the first phase. And then they would have introduced it because we had the big hitters initially. We might have had a Spider-Man at the beginning. No, not a Spider-Man early. We would have had, I'd say Guardians, but I'm happy to say it.
Yeah. I'm going to go with Guardians as well.
It's not Guardians. It is a first film of its like,
collection.
yeah, if that helps.
My other gut is telling me Captain Marvel, but I feel like it's too early.
Too early, mate, I think. I think it's going to be not Guardians. Can't be Spider-Man that early.
Oh, is it Black Panther?
No.
You were close with Spider-Man.
No, I'm
Just a different animal.
A different animal. That's confused me even more.
Yeah. Animal. Different insect, really.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Right. Wow.
Ant-Man. Yeah.
Right.
In that episode,
Oh, Ant-Man.
so in the same episode, you claim that the film was basically the whole plot of what other movie? And it's Matt who says this. Literally, I'm just going to start it. This is basically the whole plot of.
Was it another MCU
Yeah.
movie?
Because then you deep.
And it's about, like, the first Ant-Man is about Hank Pym, isn't it? All right? It's about the kind of it's a bit of a fathery thing.
Fathery thing. Heck. Oh, Iron Man.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Is it really
Wow.
the plot?
Yeah.
No, as in like for real. Is Ant-Man basically Iron Man in a different suit?
Nicely done. It very much was, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So I remember listening to that and I just went, do you know what? Yeah. Now that I think about it. And then I think it's you, Forrest, who starts to like point out like tech company, father issue, all this. I'm just like, oh my word, it is.
Yeah.
It is.
Okay.
Except one's rich and one's Does one just get out of prison? Have I got that wrong?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, this is the final one of the sort of trivia. Do you know how many episodes you currently have released?
Worse does.
This is, so I edit them. I think we are at. Is this going to include? This will include all of it, won't it? So this will include the trailer. So this is, I think.
What I got off Apple Podcast.
Yeah. So I'm going to say 122 or 3. 3.
I mean, fair though, to think of it off that. 23, that's low.
It's meant.
Oh God, that's a lot, isn't it?
And to be fair, kudos to you for having to listen to that shit. I apologise. That's the only swear word I got in. I apologise.
Oh, you're fine.
Yeah, no, we say all of them on here.
Yep.
One that we're not allowed because it will get us removed from everything. Is it? But yeah, there is.
That's awesome.
Do you know, Brad?
This is a very quick this or that situation. So, Batman or Superman?
Batman.
Batman. No.
Film or comic?
Film.
Zack Snyder or James Gunn?
James Gunn.
Christian Bale Batman or Robert Pattinson Batman?
Christian Bale.
Okay. Christian Bale or Ben Affleck?
Oh, Christian Bale.
I now just need to know, out of Ben Affleck or Robert Pattinson, who would you choose?
Robert Pattinson.
You can only save one.
Unfortunately, I know Affleck. Tobey Maguire or Andrew Garfield?
Oh no,
Tobey Maguire.
Yes. Oh God, I love them both. I'm gonna lean towards Andrew Garfield.
So different.
It's so different.
Nightwing or Robin?
Nightwing.
Robin.
I'm with you, Matt.
Yeah,
Nightwing.
It's great.
It's the electric buttons.
Yeah, so cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Of course.
And the suit. Loki or Thanos?
Thanos.
Ooh, Loki.
And then last one, Riddler or the Joker?
Oh, Joker.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
That was great. Well done. That was so amazing.
Thank you.
Okie dokie. So yeah, that concludes our fun little interview and then quiz and then a test at the end.
You started to do for me.
You won't meet.
I'm not trying to make it difficult. I'm just showing how we've taken an interest.
No, I realise that, but it always the faces when you're like, so we've got a little game, and everyone's like, right,
Sure, so like,
going.
we did an interview with the Gameplay podcast last night that I'm part of. And I went, so I've got a trivia about the campaign that we're currently doing. Everyone's faces dropped. And the only one who was smiling was our DM, like, hit me. And I was like, oh, I'm joking. I don't actually have trivia. It was just like a this or that situation for D&D. But all the other players who play with me were just like, we had to pay attention. So I don't have my notes.
I think it's really nice, and one of the things that, like, me and Matt, certainly when we got to 100 episodes, it was a really nice moment where we were just like, wow, you know, we didn't know what we didn't know what it was going to be, and then it was just like, 100 episodes later, it was so nice to just be able to go back and go, oh yeah, we've actually done quite a big feat there. So
now, before we wrap up, you guys had mentioned you are doing a live podcast on the 7th of September at 2 p.m. at the Mercury Cafe Bar at Invasion Colchester. Have I got all that right?
That's it, yeah.
It is free and open to all age. Are we allowed to know a little bit what's going on? Like, are you reviewing a certain film, or is it general? What are we allowed to know?
Yeah, go on, Forrest. Yeah.
your guess is as good as I know. Are we? So, we are recording. We were, recording a live podcast. We are totally aware that some people will never have watched a Marvel movie. Some people would have preferred DC. So we're going very much that we're going to do a general a reflection of our podcast as a whole. It's the first time we'd have done it live, especially in a town that's quite local to us. And as part of it, we've got Alex Foreman, actor in Loki, Series 2. That was a weird line moment for Matt. At Loki Series 2, who will be and will do competitions. We're going to do a bit of fun, basically. Probably some trivia as well. Not about our podcast, because some people will are no idea. But yeah, we'll do a Marvel quiz. We'll give away some goodies. Going to have a good time. Yeah, it'll be great.
Well, good luck with that. That sounds a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And for everyone who is watching, where can we find you?
So we upload every Wednesday and Friday. We are on Apple Podcast. We're on Spotify. We're on Amazon. We're anywhere you catch a podcast, we are there. We're on social media at Don't Be a Hero Podcast on Instagram and TikTok and YouTube.
Thanks. So thank you so much for joining us. It has been wonderful, genuinely. We've had a wonderful time.
Oh, thank you.
Do you want to take us out?
Okay, I've got to do it now. Okay. Right. Put that on. And okay, so we have been the BBEG Podcast, featuring the wonderful Don't Be a Hero Podcast. Now, you can find us on X, formerly known as Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, Threads. Maybe not Threads.
Sure.
You can find the actual podcast on YouTube, Amazon Podcast, Apple Podcast, Spotify Podcast. Yeah. And if you ever have any questions, want to DM us, want to reach out to us, hit us up on any of our socials. You can also email us at the BBEG Podcast at gmail.com. Any questions you want to ask about playing, any topics you want to discuss, we're always open. So
yeah. Thank you. And thank you again, guys. Thank you. And now let's start before we put it on Kerry's phone.
I'm recording. Fellow Game Masters, have you ever had one of those nights where your players turn up dice in hand and you've got nothing prepared?
Don't worry. We've all been there. Sort of. But never fear. Roll and Play Press have your back. Introducing One Shot Wonders, the ultimate guide for busy GMs.
Packed with thrilling, easy to run adventures for all levels and themes. This book will get your game night running in 20 minutes or less.
Need something light-hearted or mysterious? A rescue mission? Or even a chaotic escape? It's all in here.
But wait, there's more. Roll and Play Press isn't just about one-shots. They've got everything you need to level up your game nights.
From detailed battle maps to GM toolbooks and even game binders, so you can keep your characters and notes organised. Because no hero should lose their backstory to the void.
That's just rude. Level up your TTRPG game nights tonight with Roll and Play Press. And because we love you, don't forget to include our special code BBEGPOD10 at the checkout for 10% off.
Your next great adventure awaits. Are you ready?